What's up, everybody, and welcome to HerView podcast, What Women Really Think. I'm Shawnee, your relationship expert.
I'm Ernie, your military spouse coach.
And I'm Adrian, your favorite mental health advocate. And today is a special day. We're going to talk Malcolm and Marie, love languages. But before we get into that, ladies, how are you doing?
I'm here.
Okay.
Right. Hey. It's a week.
Maybe another week. Last week.
Well, we're all here. So let's move into some hotter things, hot topics. Let's get it going.
Well, I want to give a shout out for Black Excellence. Moet Hennessy has purchased 50% stake in Jay-Z's champagne. I'm probably not going to pronounce this correctly, but I'm going to try.
Okay.
Brand Armand de Bridgenock.
Okay.
Sounds expensive. I haven't tasted it yet.
I can't even tell you're wrong because I don't know how to.
Right. So far, you're correct.
Right.
Gold star for Shawnee.
I try. It sounds fancy and I want some. So
exactly.
Kudos to him.
Right.
Any other?
Did you guys see Neo's announcement with his wife? They're having their 5th baby. Oh,
God.
Wow. Shout out to Neo for losing your woman and she didn't hate you.
That is a lot in a pandemic.
It is.
That is a lot with emotions.
Yeah,
and for our topic today.
Emotion.
Figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Also in love is Lionel Richie, who's got a new boo, and she is 30 years old. He is 71 years old. And the running joke is, do not hurry to get married because it's possible your soulmate has not been born yet.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So
question. My question is everybody going to drag him like they did Marquise Houston, or is this different?
This is what I'm saying. That was one of my questions. Is okay, so do we get to a certain age where that's not important? Once you get to your 30s, it's you can date whoever you want. Who cares? Or is there a certain stigma when it's too big of an age gap? Right? Because yes, when you're older at that point, it sounds so bad. I'm gonna say it anyway. When you get older, you're not, you got your wits about you, and you're very healthy for some, but there's some who kind of revert back into baby things.
Yeah.
So it's where's that balance? I'm gonna say Benjamin Button it, but it's different.
Yeah. I don't know, so it's so funny that Ernie brought up Marcus Houston because I think his wife is 17 or 18. So honestly, I mean, that's a great question that you posed because I feel because she's 30, people are looking at her okay, she's a little bit more established. She's lived some. Opposed to being 17, fresh out of high school, haven't really had that many. I mean, I don't know if she had many experiences, but I feel that's how people are viewing it. She's still fresh. You didn't really get to live yet. And now you're going to marry a guy that's much older than you. I think that's where the problem comes in at.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And she's not, would it make a difference if she was legal? Right? If she was 21, would you be saying the same thing? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we would. Okay.
Yes, we would. Yeah. I don't.
Hey, kudos to Lionel. See if they have some children, because guys do that. I'm just.
He can do that all the way until he can't no more.
Okay.
Right.
I love it.
I wonder how his daughters feel about it.
How does who?
His daughters feel about it.
I haven't heard any commentary from the daughters yet, but I'm pretty sure at this point they're kind of just let him be happy. That's what I would think.
Wasn't his daughter dating someone older too?
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, they probably like this is the new thing. We touch them while they're old. I don't know.
But I
Hey,
don't know.
you get the daughter, I'll get the father. Break. That
Yeah,
was the
like
family
I don't
policy.
know if he was feeling the same way though. Like I don't know if he was on something like,
Of course,
older.
right. Of course not. And I can see that being his issue, right? Like I'm the dad, and nah. If you're gonna be out here dating my friends, I'm gonna be out here dating your friends too.
That's what I was gonna say. It was like, wait till we find out she's one of the girls' friends and used to come out for sleepovers and just the
Now that's
whole
his
weird thing of it all.
My daddy married, but let him ever. Okay. Not on my watch.
Oh my goodness. Well, clearly these people have learned each other's love language. To have such a big age gap, they are communicating in effectively, no matter whatever their communication is. They have an understanding. So this is one of the reasons why I love talking so much about love languages, is because they change as you experience different things. So like a lot of couples in the pandemic, some grew a lot closer together, trying to figure it out. Like maybe we didn't get to see each other as much, and now we're in each other's space. So now we have to figure out how to communicate, effectively to each other. And then there were some couples who were like, I don't want to communicate with you. Like, this is not going to work. And they left, right? A divorce went up a little bit. Now it's went back down. People are learning, like, they don't want to be out there again. So some people have either fixed what they have, some have settled for what they have, and other people went off to find something else.
Not the settling.
Not the settle.
I'm not settling with another. No.
I'll take a no settling for $300, Alex.
I mean, I honestly think that that's very true. Like for me, for instance, in my own personal relationship, right? So before we would both go to work. So we come home on weekends, we would try to do like date nights and stuff. But then when we both started working from home, it's okay, we're around each other all day now, but how do we still set aside that time where it's still date night? Because you kind of lose that when you guys are like home alone together all the time. Because it's like, I see you all day long. Like, why are we still having date night? But it's like, no, that's important for me. That's my love language. That's what I enjoy. So now I have to say, like, okay, babe, so what we're going to do is Friday, we're going to put our phones away and we're going to watch a movie together. And it's just going to be about us. Like, we can't do nothing else with anybody else. But that's important because I feel like the pandemic it hasn't really hurt me, but I think just realizing those type of things, like, damn, I miss us just going out and chilling, because now we in a house all the time.
Right. And you have to bring the chill to the house now.
Mm-hmm. Carla said, I decided to be single.
Oh, here you sis.
Okay, Carla.
But that's good. You're learning yourself, right? I think it's so dope when people learn their love languages, and it's such an easy thing to do. So when anybody's out there that's listening, is interested in learning your love language, it's not something you can guess, right? It's not that you read them and you're like, oh, that sounds like me. Like, you actually have a test that you take, and it will actually tell you what your love language is, especially your top two. So just to give a quick rundown of what they are, it's acts of service, quality time, words of affirmation, physical touch, and gifts. And so when you take this quiz, you could go to 5lovelanguages.com and you will learn what your top two are. Now, when you learn what they are, this is not to say that this is what your love language will always be, right? Because as we see through the pandemic, certain situations, certain experiences can shift our love language. So maybe you might have started with acts of service being your love language, but maybe physical touch is now at the top because you're not going around hugging and snuggling with people as much as you used to, right? So that might be a need. So can we like kind of break down what each one is? Because I don't want people to just think that love languages is just for romantic partners. Like, you have a love language with your family, with your friends, even coworkers, you have a language. So for acts of service, does anyone want to explain on that? Is that anyone's love language? Let's start there. Yeah, me too.
But I think Ernie was gonna say something, right?
Like not the garbage.
You breaking up, sis. I'm hearing like every other word.
I heard take out the garbage.
Yeah.
Doing the dishes.
So it sounds like Ernie
the dishes, like basically taking. You say what?
I said it sounds like you want some housework done.
Yes, I need you to help me do some
this house.
Yes, take it off my plate so later I can touch you, because that's my husband's. I like to be touched. So if you want me to touch you, give me less throughout the day so I can touch you later.
I agree, and that's what it is, right? It's kind of like if you do this for me, then it allows some free time for me to engage in something else. So like for me, my second love language is quality time. So like Ernie, right? If you go to the dry cleaner and pick up that shirt for me, or if you go to the grocery store and whatever, okay, so that's one less thing that I have to do. So now we can move into, me being a little nicer, right? Maybe the thing is words of affirmation. So now I'm more conscious of saying like, wow, that was a really great dinner. I love your lasagna. It's my favorite.
Right.
That would get them more hype, like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna go grocery shopping all the time because he complimented me on my lasagna. Like, what? Because when they get hyped off of their stuff, they be getting mad excited and they start explaining, no, because I had used 4 cheeses this time. You know what I'm saying? I had to sprinkle like salt.
I let it marinate.
Right. I let my sauce brew for 4 hours on simmer. That's how I did it. A regular meal.
I think, like you said, bringing up quality time, like for me, I do love quality time as well. And I love that even in terms of my family and my friends. So there are people, obviously, like if you know me very well, you'll know that I love quality time. And I'm generally, well, I was going to say generally a person who enjoys quality time more so when it's just 2 versus a crowd. So sometimes, like, I think it took a while for my friends to really understand that, because they'd be like, oh, we're going out, it's 6 of us, and I'll be like, I'm good. But let you say, Adrian, do you want to go to lunch with me? It's just going to be us 2. I'm like, I'm there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I enjoy that, like just that space with me and you to be able to like really connect. I do enjoy group outings, but just I don't know. I enjoy the quality time amongst me, like really getting to learn my cousin or have intimate conversations with my friends. Like I enjoy those moments.
Mm-hmm.
I truly think that possibly means like you're a giver in conversations, and to divide that into 6 people and give yourself so much to so many people at one time probably drains you. Like I tell my husband that too. Like if we're having a gathering, I need to kind of know in advance. And it's not because I don't like anybody, but it's because by the end of it, I'm drained from being around all those different people, personality. Like it's a lot. Some people can do it. I can't.
Yeah, I'm a introvert naturally. I know it may not seem like it, but it's a lot for me to be on all the time. So like when it's done, I'm like, straight up collapse. So I definitely feel you on that journey. Carla says, I lean from my job is acts of service. I learned from my job is acts of service and words of affirmation. I want to be appreciated.
That's so good to bring up about jobs, because that's so important. A lot of people just want to be told you did a good job
or thank you.
Right. And it's so simple, but yet people don't understand that. And I think it's so important as bosses for people to understand that. Like it will really improve the way your employees work. Just saying thank you, Adrian. And I like right now at the job that I'm at, my boss, she's really good for that. Like if I send out an email to the team, she's like, Adrian, thank you. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, I send out the email every day. So it's like it's nothing. Wow.
Right. You're gonna get 2 emails tomorrow.
Right. I'll CC everybody. Like, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do?
Emails done. I got that.
You feel that appreciation for something so small. You're like, you know what? So when they do ask you for something big, you don't even mind doing it now because it's like she recognizes the work that I do. So that's a really good point.
Yes,
which is funny. My son, my youngest, acts of service, affirmations. Like KJ loves for you to tell him great this. He did such a great, like it feeds him. And I just was like, and it's weird because it ties into physical touch. He has to hug me. He has to be near me. He has to, like, in a 5-year-old, I'm like, oh God, like, okay. For me, it's a lot because I'm like, stop touching me. I don't want nobody to touch me. But he like needs that. So like for me and him, I know that I have to give him those compliments and tell him like he lights up. It's crazy to watch in a little bit. And I think we don't think about these things with our children enough. Like, what are your kids' love languages? Because sometimes we don't consider them as human beings, right? You're my child and my mama did do it this way and I'm saying do it this way. It's like the bullying effect. I had to do it, so you got to do it. But like watching him and learning how to parent different, I know that that's what he needs.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter, she needs gifts. What you got for me, Mom?
Here's the money. I passed.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Cupcakes. Cupcake. Are we going somewhere? Like, what we doing? Can we go to the mall? The mall's been her favorite word since like 4. No.
My kind of girl.
I love it. So with all these love languages, you can see that it's very different for everybody. Everybody's experience is some different. And I suggest that you just learn them. I'm not saying it's going to automatically save a relationship, but it couldn't hurt. Just another tool to communicate with whoever the people you love in your life. So learn your love languages, fivelovelanguages.com. And so with that being said, there is a movie on Netflix called Malcolm and Marie. And it is about a couple who the boyfriend has just won an award or came from an award ceremony and he wants to celebrate, but there's some friction. And we follow them throughout the night on how they unravel what the deeper issue is. So for anyone who's listening or watching this is a spoiler.
Turn it off now, then go watch the movie and then come back. Remember where we're at.
Come back later. But I want to just get deep into it because I found this movie so interesting and I feel like it really touched on, to me, what seemed like a toxic relationship. So, Deja's like, I'm not so sure. So what's the first love language that I noticed was when they were coming home from the awards night, right? He's already like, talking about how great it was and how people were just like, giving so many compliments, and he turns on the music and the first thing she does is go into the kitchen, right? So I think he was trying to achieve some quality time there, right? I just got off the show. It's late, right? It's probably, I'm thinking after award show, it's probably like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Who knows?
I think they said it was about 1. I think like they set a time and it was about 1.
Yeah. So it's late night. He's trying to get some quality time. And to me, it seemed like Marie was performing an act of service by this mac and cheese.
Right. No, your man loves mac and cheese.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about this because one of the things is he said, I can tell you're like upset with like, what's the matter, Marie? Right? And she's like, I don't want to talk about it right now. I'm gonna make this mac and cheese. We're gonna enjoy this evening. Let's not do this now. He persists. So what do you think about that whole scene?
I'm kind of torn on that one because part of me says, okay, at this moment, I'll say this, at this moment, this is what my thought was because it changed. But at this moment, I just was like, dang girl, like cut out the attitude, like whatever it is, get through tonight, wake up in the morning and then deal with it. And then when she kept being like, you don't want to do this, I was like, brother, leave it alone. Go the other way, go back in the room and listen to your music and drink your drink. Listen to her when she says you don't want to do this. Because when we say that, it's like you got one more again. And I'm about to ruin our whole night. So that part was just like, oh, what are we gonna do for me?
I think for that part, I felt like the way he said it was like, here she go again on this bullshit. Right? Like, what's your problem now?
Right.
And she knows that whatever she says is going to lead to an argument because it's probably led to arguments beforehand. So that's probably why she was maybe like, let's not, you don't want to go there. Like, let's not do this. I'm trying to make this mac and cheese. What kind of butter you want?
Yeah.
Salted or unsalted?
Right. That. Salted or unsalted. I don't know, for that scene, I just kind of felt like, Ernie, like, I get what you're saying. Like, maybe we shouldn't discuss this tonight. But I also feel like there are times in relationships, right, when we're like, you know, I'm not even going to discuss this tonight because I'm gonna just hold off. But I feel like at the same time, when you keep putting stuff off, that's just when things go left. So I don't know. Like, I felt like the way he said it was already wrong, right? Like, what now? But I think if he may have been like, what's going on? Like, talk to me. Like, maybe they could have got through it and it ended well. But from that, like, his response, I already knew I was gonna go left after that.
Right.
This ain't going nowhere.
They probably should have learned their argument styles.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would have helped.
It got really, really intense. So basically, you know, they kind of drop it. She makes the mac and cheese. He's listening to the music. He's at the table. You know, she's talking to him, and she's like, you forgot to thank me. And he's like, oh. He was like, why can't it be that maybe I just forgot to thank you? Versus it's a whole underlying reason why I didn't thank you. So do you think he was kind of hearing her when clearly she's asking for some words of affirmation here?
No, he wasn't. There was no hearing. That's where my opinion changed. Like, oh no, we need to have this conversation. Because after she says that, you didn't thank me as a woman. And of course, I'm looking at it from my perspective, right? As a woman who follows her husband, who supports him, who does everything that no one sees, who's there when no one else isn't. You couldn't thank me? And I'm the backbone of this whole operation? Oh, that's a big problem. Like, it wasn't that you forgot. I wasn't important to you. And I wanted to jump through the TV at that moment. Like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't thank my homegirl. Like, I was mad. Like, that's so disrespectful. You think, especially when she was like, you thanked the 140 something people. You thank your mother. You thank the girl. And it just goes.
Yeah.
I'm like, at a certain point, team her. Like, no, you wrong for that. And instead of being like, I am so like, you just acted like it didn't matter that I didn't. Right. That was hard to watch. Like, my heart kind of broke for her then.
Yeah. So he was definitely enjoying that mac and cheese. And she was like,
tearing it up.
She was like, are you seriously like arguing with me in between your bites of mac and cheese? Like
your second bowl.
Right. You don't have the decency to stop eating to talk to me. You were yelling at me from across the room eating this mac and cheese. That was so funny to me. So anyway, so it goes on and she's talking about getting credit for the film because he basically used her as a muse, like told her life story. And that was even more reason to kind of spark the whole like, so you use my story and you can't even say thank you? Like, my whole mind would have been,
Let me tell you. I had to pause it and yell at the TV. And my son, my oldest, walked in and he's like, Mom, what happened? And I'm like, this mother love. I'm like, how dare he? You finally, like she says it, like nobody ever gave you praise before. And you finally get praise off my story. And then you didn't thank me? OMG.
Yeah.
While you eat mac and cheese that I just made. Nah, bro. I just was like, it's funny because at that moment, because my husband was doing something else, he walked down the stairs and I just like stared at him. He didn't do nothing. Just like, at your retirement ceremony, you better thank me.
Like, I'm putting a belly in now.
Right. We're writing that speech tomorrow. Yeah. So I had to take him at that point. I had to take a moment because like I felt it. Like I was there with her in that. And I probably shouldn't have been that invested, but I was, because it's like it's a complete smack in the face. Like, really? Okay.
Do you think he was like really hearing what she was saying, or do you think he was just so wrapped up into here she goes again on her bullshit that he couldn't really process what she was really trying to tell him?
I do. I think that they probably argue so often and probably about the same thing so much.
Yeah.
He's like, or like he's on auto. Like, I have a response for that. I have a response for that. I'm not even gonna sit and process what she's saying. Like, she's trying to tell me this is the biggest night of your life. I'm happy for you. Right. I'm just saying you got that from me. And she was like, and you know I'm trying to be an actress. So that's too. Like, on top of it being my story, you know I'm trying to get my feet wet. You should have used me, but you didn't. And how could you tell my story better than me as the leading lady? So it was just all around like hurt. And he wasn't hearing it. Like, it was just, all right, like whatever. And I'm like, this is deep.
It seemed like he was just trying to really just enjoy this moment, like whatever it took to enjoy the moment. He was just to dismiss it, like, okay, are we good now? Like, get back to this evening. And she's like, no. Then he started mentioning the party, the actress who played her, who was a little bit more bold and boisterous with her opinions. She was just kind of like, she felt like you respect her more than you respect me. And he's like, but that's just how she is. She's just, she's crazy. And she's kind of like, but I'm your woman.
Right.
So there's a lot of like tension and unresolved issues from that whole thing. And like you were saying before, Adrian, her wanting to be an actress and him not casting her, as you get deeper into the argument, you see their views on the acting.
Right.
So it's like, is there a possibility that maybe she didn't really give it her all in that audition and didn't quite take it seriously? Or maybe she did give it her all and he was just like, yeah, I'll just let you do it just to do it, but I'm never gonna.
Right.
So I guess that's up for interpretation. But there is a scene that sticks out to me that really like made me cringe, and that's the bathtub scene. Y'all remember the bathtub scene?
I do.
Shall we talk about the bathroom scene?
I'm glad we talking about the bathroom scene.
Okay. So she goes and she gets herself ready for a nice bath. She's ready to like calm down, relax in the evening. She said some nasty things to him, including calling him mediocre. He was so upset. He went outside and was so angry that he was like punching the air. And I think at one point he was fencing. Did you notice that?
Oh, he was like shadow boxing or something. Yeah.
He was shadow boxing first and he started fencing. That was funny to me. I laughed out loud. I was like, okay. He likes, I was like, is he gonna go in the house and lose it? Like, this is psychotic break right now. Like, whoa.
But that was
the liquor made him
kind of to me because she had mentioned that, he has these like critics and all these other writers and viewers or whatever thinking that he's some poor inner city youth who grew up with nothing and he's just trying to share the Black experience. And she's like, and you're more, elite than the people who are interviewing you.
Right.
And then after all of that, called him mediocre, it like shook him to the core. Yes. So much to the point that he banged on the window and was like, mediocre.
Me?
And she was
Because
just kind of
that was the thing.
right. She's like, out of all the things I said to you, mediocre is what stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes into his rant. Now, what do you think he went wrong with this rant?
The snap you like a twig. Here's the deal. I think what she said, could it have been said better? Yes. But was it honest? Probably so. Mm-hmm. And that's probably why it hurt so much, is because that's probably what he dealt with. So it was like, normally you're supportive and you're just like, babe, because at one point you see supportive and she's like, you're great and everything's wonderful. But I think for her to truly say it did something different to him. So then he went into, instead of being honest about her, he was honest in some parts. I was like, ooh, that's an ugly truth. But it was more so, I want to hurt you. So now I'm going to, it was kind of like, in my head, it was like him standing over her, like, you're going to bow down to me because I'm about to just dismantle you. And it was just like, ooh, it's kind of ugly. Like, that's completely ugly.
I think it was a very like vulnerable space for him to unleash what he did. And maybe it just seemed worse because she was in such a vulnerable space, because there's nothing more vulnerable than being in the bathroom, either sitting on the toilet or being in the shower. Let's be real, right? So it's like he said all these things, and then at the end of saying these nasty things to her, telling her, oh, you think this was about you? Actually, this was this girl I used to mess with back then and whatever. There's this other chick that wish she had my baby and I didn't know how to respond. There's this other chick. Like, he was going through the list. He was like vicious with it. And at the end, he was like, the problem, right, is that why can't you just let me love you? Mm. Why can't you just let anyone just love you for you? Why does it always have to be this thing? And I like that he said that. I just didn't like when he said it.
No.
Right.
I think if they went to counseling, so many things could be worked out, because as I watched this movie, I'm like, they are expressing how they feel, but everything is always going to be about delivery and approach, like how you deliver the message. Because even I thought it was really great that he told her, like, I understand this movie is loosely based off of you, but I'm also sharing my side of how I felt when I had to take care of you all of those nights. Because I feel like that's a part of it that we miss a lot. Like, yeah, you went through some shit, but I went through it too, because I had to take care of you. So where you lacked, I picked it up. So it was kind of, for me, I understand his point. Like, yeah, you did go through something and I stuck by you and you cheated, right? And you cheated on me and I still held it down. But now you want to complain about everything else? Like, well, damn, all the things I did for you, and you're mad that I didn't say thank you? So it was just like, it was so many things that I was feeling, because I feel like she's right for being upset that she didn't get a thank you, but just hearing his side too, I'm like, I get it. Like,
I agree. You definitely go back on side to side. You're like, okay, I agree with her. Oh, well, I agree with him. He's right. And then it definitely flip flops. Cliff says, where can I catch this movie?
My turn.
Netflix, Cliff. Rhonda says, once you go too far, you can never come back. See?
Because it's implanted up here now. So every time that you look at me a certain way or you say something, I'm going to remember how you made me feel when you said it. Because you can't just be like, oh, I was mad in the moment. You can't have those conversations. Like, if you're just saying something to hurt me, then don't say it. Let's just not have this conversation. Because now that's like another shard that's in this. Like, but yeah, I felt him. Like, I get it.
Yeah,
you did do a lot, but still, the foundation of this movie, bruh, me. Don't care about that walk. don't care about the sex scene or none of that. Don't care about it. Foundation, me. Thank you. Enough.
Right. And the fact that he tried to deny it too, like it was
Right.
just, come on, you just being spiteful. And that's the other thing, they both were petty as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Plus sometimes when you hit a man with some uncomfortable truth or a low blow, you can expect some venom in his response. It's true. Some people don't listen for understanding when they're arguing. They're so mad and so enraged. It's just so, I'm going to hurt you the way I'm feeling hurt. I want you to feel the way I feel. And what people fail to realize, it's like guilty. What people fail to realize is that words do hurt.
Yep.
And once they're said, they can't be unheard.
Yep.
You can't unring a bell.
Yes, it's a very hard discipline to practice, but it's something that, we definitely have to work on, right? Definitely. I think this movie really Huh?
No, I was gonna say.
I think this movie really what like this pandemic was really like for some couples. And I'm not saying that the couples are arguing this intense, but just get into that level of communication where they can either decide like, yes, we're good for each other and we should move forward. We got this versus, okay, you know what? Maybe you're not who I thought you were because I'm always at work and you're always at work. So the time we spend together is maybe 2 to 3 hours out of the day. So it seems like you're right in those 3 hours. But now I'm spending the whole 24 with you 7 days a week. You're different.
Different.
And it's learning your partner, right? Let's see some of these comments. Rhonda says, he cut deep. Once you cut that deep, you leave scars that can't be healed. Ooh, I hear that. Cliff says, is it sequel worthy? What do you ladies think?
No. I'll be honest, like it took a lot out of me to like really watch it. And I don't know if I was watching it from like that therapeutic lens, but it was a lot, like the back and forth. Like I wanted to just shut it off because I was like, I'm tired of them arguing. Like it's annoying. So I don't think I would watch a second one, and be honest.
I think I would because in the 10 years of this marriage, we've had a few nights like that. They're the toughest things to get through, but sometimes they're the most they're the things you have to. Because in those times, some people don't be honest. And so it's like you've got to sometimes pull that honesty out. And even though it may be toxic, not saying you should do it all the time, and you should find better ways to do it. But until you get to that point, it's like that's how that.
I think you broke up. Yeah.
You guys.
But I don't think there needs to be a second part because this is who they are, and it's working for them for like 5 years. I think they've been together. And he even said, he was like, every time she did something, when she acted out the scene for him, or she like, whatever she said, he was like, I love you. I really love you. And we should get married. And I know we're going to get divorced a few times, but it's okay. Like,
even that had me like, this is hella toxic. Like,
yes. And it's just like those people that you're like, maybe it needs to say Malcolm and Marie, right?
Yeah.
Maybe
we lost
to see Malcolm and Monica, or Marie and Martin. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it just needs to stay.
I think it's done. Like it served this purpose. It showed us like the dynamics of certain relationships and how things can be blown up, especially if not talked about.
Yeah.
Because I felt like she held on to that. Like instead of, I don't know if they had discussions before, but like had you said when you didn't get the part. Like, you know what? I'm really disappointed because I didn't get the part or whatever. And y'all had that conversation. Maybe on that night you wouldn't have felt that way. You know what I'm saying? Because he already explained to you, like, listen, you didn't get it because this, that, or whatever. But it was just like, I'm gonna wait till his best night when he's receiving all of this glory and be like, you didn't cast me for my own movie. Like, what? Why is it so now?
Right, because sometimes you don't think that it's gonna be something. So instead of always like really believing in him and his, abilities, now it's like, oh shit, this really turned into something. Well, it's about me. And you didn't say thank you.
Right.
Like, give me that. I made mac and cheese. God damn it. See? This is what I'm saying. Cliff says, are Eminem that couple we all know that probably shouldn't be together, but their toxicity acts like glue to their relationship?
Yep.
Yes. Yes. We all know those like couple friends that you're like, why are y'all together? Y'all don't even like each other.
That part.
I do think, but I do think there's a strong way. They had horrible moments, but they also had good moments. So I believe like with a lot of therapy, it could work. But they would both have to like be willing to be like that vulnerable, and because the whole thing was about peeling back the layers of her core hurt. And it's like, if we can learn how to get there and just say what that is quicker, we won't have these moments no more. Because she should have said that when casting was over, or during casting, or when she found out the girl was getting cast. Like, this conversation should have happened before the movie ever went into productions, contracts were signed. But it was like, because she held on to it for so long, she sat back and watched blow after blow after blow, instead of just saying like, I'm not okay with this. Let's deal with this now.
Yeah, I think that's the problem when people just go along to get along.
Yep.
And no one's really like sharing their feelings. But I thought the movie was interesting. It's getting a lot of crazy like feedback. Some people are upset that I think it's Sam Levinson. He's the director. He's a white director. So some people feel like he shouldn't be telling the story. Then there's other people who are like, he's telling his own story and the actors just happen to be Black. Like, what's the big deal? There's some people who are obsessed about this mac and cheese. Why gotta be Kraft mac and cheese? Why can't it be regular mac and cheese? I'm telling you, the conversations are out there. And I think sometimes people are just kind of missing. I mean, it's up to your interpretation, right? Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But for me, the one thing that I focused on was definitely how they talk to each other and the toxicity of the cycle that they go through. So I think they definitely need some kind of therapy.
Yeah.
Right. Take it out. And please get this therapy before you have children.
Absolutely.
Please.
I was going to say that. I was like, if we bring a kid into this, it's only going to get worse.
Right.
It's truly only like get worse.
Right. Also, really quick, I do want to mention, did you guys notice the age difference between the two? Do you feel like it was a factor?
Mm-mm.
Did they say the age difference? I might not have.
She was, I think, because they were together for 5 years, she's supposed to be like 25.
Right. I do remember her being 25.
But they never really tell his age. We just know, David John Washington's age. We just know that. But they never really focus on his age, but you could see a difference in, I guess maybe I don't know. I would say the maturity levels, but they both petty as hell. So who knows?
Right. I don't know. I don't think I really noticed that. And probably because I felt like you said they both were petty and both were kind of immature in my eyes from the way they were handling things. So I didn't see like, oh my God, he's so mature and she's. It was just more like they got issues. they got hella issues. They need to work out. And this is weird. I'm uncomfortable.
Oh man. Yes, I agree. Well, thank you to everyone who listened in on tonight's episode. This is actually the last episode for the season. We are taking a break. So make sure you are continuing to follow each one of us individually, as well as HerView podcast on Instagram and Facebook. We are going to regroup, recharge, and yeah. Do you ladies have anything you'd like to add?
I just want to say thank you to everybody that comes on all the time and like shows us love, no matter what it is. I'm just grateful.
Yeah. Ditto.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Make sure you check out our HerView podcast tomorrow on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, and everywhere else podcasts are streaming. Make sure you check out Real Adrian and Diamond and Stiletto's IG Live. Tuesday, 9 p.m. EST. I am not running through the time zones right now because
don't do it. EST, figure it out.
Okay, Marie just drained me again. But I hope you all go check out the movie. Please leave your comments and let us know what you think. We'd love to get your input on it. And yeah, everybody have a great night, and we'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.